Hey YouTube, welcome back to Universe X, and today I actually wanted to go over my favorite leaders for different reasons, and my favorite I mean just ones that had my attention the most, whether it be for how good I think they are, for how odd I think they are, or how bad I think they are. So yeah. Gotta get out of the way, like I've been doing at the beginning of every video. We are almost to 500 subs, which is a massive milestone for me, and I will be doing something to celebrate. We're gonna kick off the new year right for sure. Just waiting to hit that magical 500, and then we're gonna kick things off. But excited to put out content, excited to keep going and doing things in this game. I will be cooking up some 2021 content for gacha games like Dragon Ball Legends and Dragon Ball Dokkan, well, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, and they'll be on the channel UniX Dragon Ball or UniX DB, which will be in the description. Also, if you haven't already, join the Facebook group, the Dragon Ball Super Card Game Community Discussion Group. It is the largest forum of information for our card game, and I guarantee you will learn something, meet some new people, be able to buy some cards through the sites that, you know, the other pages that they will talk about on there, such as like Auction Booths, Candy Shoppers, you know, Black Auction, or the Auction House, Dragon Ball TCG Auction House. Yeah, I'm fumbling over that. Point being, how to say all that. So I'm gonna do this video, and then I'm gonna spend some time with some loved ones for what, New Year's Eve and New Year's. I'm gonna be gone until New Year's Day, well, until the day after that. So this will be my send off until the new year, and then we're gonna get right into some cool stuff. So yeah, I think what I have planned, you know what, I'm gonna leave that a surprise. I want you guys to like stay tuned and see that. So we're gonna jump into this. I think every set kind of has a mixed bag when it comes to leaders. Like there hasn't been a single set that just has dropped straight fire all throughout each color. But we've got some interesting picks here. So I think the first one I'm going to talk about, lots of buzz around it, Turles, okay? I put him on one of the better, more interesting cards in this set. I mean, permanent, if a Turles Crusher Core in your battle area be placed into its owner's drop area by any one of your skills, it's removed from play. Now, this is an interesting piece because I've talked about all these cards before and their color breakdowns and all sorts of things. But this prevents certain cards from going off. If it needs to send a card from the field to the graveyard, from the battle area to the drop zone, this card will prevent it from being able to pay its cost because it's going to warp the Turles cards instead. And that goes only if you are using the Turles cards. If you have a bunch of green cards in the deck that aren't Turles, you can still use things like Cell Zeno if none of the cards that you're trying to use for Successor are the Crusher Core. But it's an interesting thing that you have to kind of play a little differently if you want to use things like Cell Zeno, or it might just force you to play a whole nother secret rare entirely. But that card is the best card in the game, so if you can somehow figure out a way to put it in here, I would definitely put it in here. Now, auto, when you place this card into your lead area, place up to one Tree of Might from your deck to your opponent's battle area. Tree of Might is such a disgusting card. It's like, remember when if you were watching the early videos when I said that Baby is just a vehicle for a Planet Tuffle? Well, this is sort of the same way, except that Turles actually does things. And so, woo! Yeah, Tree of Might is a massive card. It does massive things, and Turles being able to put it on your opponent's side of the board for free is killer. Then auto, when this card attacks, add up to one card from your life to your hand. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Add up to one Turles Crusher Core amongst them to your hand. Shuffle your hand. That's a +2 as long as you hit the card. But that's Self-Awakening, and you get to potentially kind of toolbox the top 5 cards. It's a powerful effect. And then if you have 4 or less life, or your opponent has 3 or more life face up, you may draw a card, switch up to one of your energy into active mode and flip this card over. So you can force those 3 life pretty easily, yes, but against certain decks that reveal their life, such as King Piccolo, the yellow Frieza, or even Trunks that will, the set 10 Trunks that will place life into its life, this could be a snowball effect. Like, this guy can awaken very, very quickly by his own effect or by your opponent having 3 life flip face up. So I think that's a lot of value. Going to his other side, Turles Fiendish Force. He still warps the Turles core. But when this card deals damage, you choose the card your opponent chooses from their life. Okay, so you don't even need to really use Chomp in this deck because Tree of Might will give any Turles card double strike. So yeah, when you swing with this card with double strike and you can see, you know, half your opponent's life face up, you can give them dead cards. You can give them cards that are only 5k combo power in hand for the rest of your turn while you're swinging, and you know that they're only 5k combo power. Like, information is massive, and this is a crazy effect on a card. Activate main, once per turn, choose one card in your hand, place it at the bottom of your deck, add one fruit of the Tree of Might from your drop area to your hand. Seeing that this thing is giving him, what, 20,000 power and double strike? Yeah, that's not even a trade. That's wonderful. We are definitely doing that. Oh my gosh, yeah, this leader is just juice. It's sauce. I like it a lot. And the deck around it still needs to be twiddled with, but I mean, that may or may not be my next archetype preview. You know, stay tuned. So yeah, like Turles. Next card we're going to talk about, Shroom and Salsa. When this card attacks, draw one card. Once per turn, when this card is in the battle, or when this card is in a battle, when you use a black battle card in a combo, your opponent sends one battle card from their drop to their warp, and if there are no battle cards in your opponent's drop area, then draw a card. It's sequenced that you can have one battle card in their graveyard, remove it, and then it checks to see if there are any engraved, and then proceeds to do the other draw. When you're at 4 or less, or your opponent has 4 more cards in their warp, you may draw one card, choose one of your energy, flip it to active mode, or switch to active mode, flip it face up. So this guy is a hit or miss when it comes to his secondary awakening effect. Against any black deck, he can probably awaken on turn 2, easy. Against any other deck, it's kind of situational, but there are cards in this deck that help you self-awaken, and the almighty Black Mass Sand is a card. Very good in the format depending on what deck you play, and on top of that, it self-awakens and it's black. Okay, enough said. I like his effect because at first his effect is still kind of a break even, but it's a strong cycle. You're going to draw one, you're going to combo a card, so you're going to go down one card, and then so that's your advantage, and you're going to draw another one. So it's still a break even, okay? Actually, it's a +1. I'm so sorry. That's a +1 because you were sitting with no draws to the turn. You swung, you got a draw, you dropped a card, you drew a card. So it's a +1. However, there are cards in there like the Gravy card, Chain Attack Gravy, where if he's on the field, and you combo with the black card, you're going to draw a card. So when you have Gravy on the field, you're going to draw a card for swinging, discard a card, draw a card for the leader effect, draw a card from Gravy, and it becomes a +1. And it racks up pretty quick, and that Gravy is not unique. Like if you want to look at my deck profile, like deck archetype preview video on Shroom and Salsa, you can see when those things stack up, you can draw mass amounts of cards swinging. Kind of wild. Now, when he awakens, his effect is very unique. He still is able to draw and swing. He still removes a card from your opponent's drop zone, and he still will draw a card if they're not in there. But now you can pay 1, and if there are no battle cards in your opponent's drop area, you can just cheat out a 2-drop or less Demon God, Demon Realm Racer, Evil Wizard. These are all the Toas. These are these are all the Mechagoboras. These are a fair amount of Demigras. These are the Gravies. These are the Poutines. These are the Shrooms. These are the Salsas. There's a huge bank of cards you can use with this, and some of them are cool. You want to just start off your turn by, I don't know, slapping a Broken Seal Mechagobora on the board and just calling something you don't want to see. Yeah, we got you. You want to just pull out a Toa out of nowhere? We got you. There's a self-awakening Demigra you can pull out? Yeah, we got you. There's so many things you can actually bring up with this card, and it's really nice. So yeah, I like this deck a lot. I like this leader a lot, actually. It's just a little, its first 2 turns can feel really not strong, but it just kind of grows stronger throughout the game, in my opinion. Next card and final card actually that I'm going to put on the I like list is Whis. When this card attacks, draw 1 card. Once per turn, if your opponent's turn, when a yellow skills battle card with 15k power is placed in your drop area from your combo area, you can play it from your drop area. So he's kind of got that rewind, that click, click, and he rewinds the deck. See, that's very flavorful. Awaken, if your life is at 4 or less, or you have a yellow unison card with a specified cost of 2 in play, you may draw 1 card, switch one of your energy up to active mode. Okay, and then you take life until you're at 6. We've already seen what leaders feel like when this happens, okay? Go Tanks, you play that Vegito, you draw 2 cards. Or you draw a card, you untap a card, and you know, you awaken at 6 life, and this is a strong effect. Now, going to his backside, Godly Mentor, he still draws when he attacks. Once per turn, if your opponent's turn, he can, yes, he still has the same rewind effect. Yep, it's placed in your drop area from your combo area. You may play it this turn from the drop area. So that's cool, yeah. You combo with it, bring it back. And then activate main once per turn. Yellow. Choose 1 yellow Sun Goku or Vegeta with energy cost of 2 in your battle area. Place in its owner's drop area. Choose up to 1 yellow battle card from your deck or hand with an energy cost of 3, an EXE ball skill, and the same character name as the card you place in the owner's drop area. With this skill, play it and shuffle your deck if you look through it. So it just cheats out the Super Saiyan Blues, but those Super Saiyan Blues are very, very good, and they can be very, very devastating when you let them accumulate on the board. So this is what we call a dub. This is a very consistent card, and a lot of its power you don't see on the leader. You have to see those 3 drops and how the deck is built around it. But make no mistake, I think for its archetype, this leader is built beautifully. Now we're gonna go over to the weird, okay? You got Pikachu. Yep, when this card attacks, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add up to 1 mono blue card amongst them to your hand, then place the remaining cards on the top of your deck in any order. Choose up to 1 of your Pikachu cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and return it to the owner's hand. It can awaken when your life is at 4 or less. You're going to draw 1 card, untap 1 card. And then its backside does the same thing. Whenever you swing, you're going to look at up to the top 2 cards, and you're going to add 1 mono blue. You're going to put the other one back, and then you're going to choose 1 of your Pikachu cards with an energy cost of 3 or less, and up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards this time. Bounce them to the hand. Activate main once per turn. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. Now, this card may sound pretty phenomenal. Why? Because as a leader, as a card that can never leave your board, the amount of consistency that this card adds is phenomenal. However, this card doesn't do anything outside of that. This card doesn't give itself double strike. This card doesn't give itself critical. This card doesn't blow up something on the board. This card doesn't add insane combo power through some gimmicky effect. This card simply makes your deck more consistent, and that means that Pikachu can only be as good as the blue cards that you have to surround him. And while there are a bunch of good blue cards, blue isn't necessarily hurting for ways to get cards in hand right now. Whether you're looking at the unisons that just +2 to draw 1 and never really leave the board until the blue player is pretty much ready, or you're looking at cards like Sand Instincts, which is going to draw you 2 for energy you're probably going to tap anyway. There's a plethora of cards for blue to draw into all their pieces, and so you might as well be running a leader that actually allows you to press game, like Knockout Strike with its double strike and single counter restriction, or Zamasu, who's able to not only clear or have board removal on his leader skill, but he's also able to swing twice and combine that with things like the baby ult or Manaka, and he's a threat on his own. You could be running things like Soul Striker, who gets bigger and can gain double strike, but also is able to untap cards. There's a lot of cards that you can use effectively with blue synergy, and this card does not unfortunately do enough to warrant using it over other blue leaders. Like maybe if most of blue's draw power got neutered somehow, yeah, but not here. Now we move over to the ugly. We got Lord Slug, and I'm sorry if you like Lord Slug. Again, in the comments, talk to me, join the Discord, and tag me. Be like, yo, bro, I got the Lord Slug deck that'll make you quake. Like, yeah, okay, I'll look at the list. I'll even play you one on tap. I just need to see what Lord Slug does, because for the life of me, I'm not feeling it. When this card attacks, you and your opponent draw 1 card. Why? Why are we giving them advantage? They can let the 10,000 go through and +2 cards. When you have 3 or more green energy, you can act, or you activate your, well, sorry. If you have 3 more energy, when you activate Rejuvenate skill, draw 2 cards and flip this card over. So he has a really interesting early awakening, and that's tight. Now, if your life's at 4 or less, you and your opponent may draw 1 card, and then you may switch up to 2, or you switch up to 2 of your energy to active mode and flip this card over. So if you awaken through normal, you switch 2 to active mode, and your opponent gets to draw 1 as well as you drawing 1. Still, you drawing 1 untap 2 is a pretty huge effect, so depending on momentum, that might not even be the worst thing that can happen. That's just powerful. Draw 1, untap 2. Very strong on that. However, if you have 3 more energy, you can rejuvenate and just draw 2 cards and give your opponent nothing, but you also don't get the energy, so not sure how I feel about that one either. Now we're gonna go to Lord Slug, Rejuvenated Invader. Only 20k leader in the game so far, base 20k, so that's cool. If your opponent has 7 or fewer cards in their hand, this card gains plus 5,000 power during battles on your opponent's turn. That's rough, but it's still, you're still able to press it for 20k, but your opponents can still bully it like a 15 if they don't have hand side. And the worst part is they can just start comboing over your 20k until they drop beneath 7 cards in hand, and then all of a sudden they don't need a combo anymore. You're gonna be break even. You need to start comboing. I don't like that at all. When this card attacks, you and your opponent get to draw a card. Yuck. And then if your opponent has 10 or more cards in their hand, play up to 1 mono green Slug's army with an energy cost of 2 or less. It's not like if your opponent has advantage, you can put out a 2-drop. No. So that's that. Now last on the list we got this Frieza. I could talk all day about this Frieza. I won't though, because I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I needed 2 more cards that flipped cards face down, not just the 5-drop that only does it once. Permanent, if all your life is face up, you lose the game. Oof. When you take damage, flip cards in your life face up equal to the damage taken instead. Permanent, cards in your life can only be flipped face up by skills on mono yellow cards, and you can't add face up cards in your life to your hand. Okay. When you place this card in your leader area, activate up to 1 cutting edge recovery device from your deck. That's a huge field card. Does a lot of things for the deck. And then you've got, when your life is at 5 or less, choose up to 1 cutting edge recovery device in your battle area, place it in its owner's drop area, and flip this card over. Yeah, okay. So it's a really wonky leader card, and I like how they're trying to expand their design space. I just don't think this one came out the way that it was supposed to. It feels like really half-baked. So I'll have to study it. It definitely will be one of my archetype breakdowns soon, because I need to look at all these archetypes and see what I'm missing. But yeah, it's kind of rough. And a deck like this will pretty much have Turles Awakening on turn 2 almost every single game. So that kind of hurts too. It's definitely kind of weird. But its backside is going to allow you to saying things, if all your life face up, you lose, and you know, life's flipped face up instead of you taking damage. And then your life can only be flipped face up by mono yellow yellow cards, and you can't add face up cards in your life to your hand. Cool. But then once per turn, you place 1 card in your life in the drop area, draw 1 card, and this card gains plus 5,000 power and double strike. So he can at least try to press game, but I just don't see the deck having enough longevity with 8 life to make this a possibility. It just, I don't even need to go further than that. It just kind of feels that way. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody has a very safe and fun New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. Once you get to where you're going, if you're of that age, I highly suggest that you stay where you're at. If you get a little toasty, but please don't drive any later than you have to on New Year's Eve. It is one of the most dangerous nights of the year for drunk driving. Don't want you guys in this situation. Don't want anybody who may be drunk driving in this situation to hurt anybody that may be watching this. Don't want them to hurt anybody at all. So yeah, for what it is, stay safe, guys. I'll see you guys into the new year. This is the last video I'm putting out for 2020. And we're all glad to leave 2020 behind, even if I did see some nice growth at the end. But 2021, we're gonna hit it right out of the park. See you guys next time you decide to join Universe X. And Happy New Year.